Hey guys, Dov here with another battle from the Alia Bros tournament. This is a battle from the final. It's actually game 2. Game 1, I got absolutely crushed by Aerocrastic, my opponent. Bretonia versus Norska, it was just not pretty. So I'm not going to show that game because it makes me sad inside. And yeah, this game makes me happy inside, which is why I'm showing it, because I've taken an absolutely ridiculous build against the High Elves. We've got Volkmar the Grim, a Steam Tank, and the Tempelhof Luminarch. We've also got the Black Lions, Hellblaster War Wagon, 5 Spears, no Veterancy unfortunately because I just couldn't afford it. Got a Deathcaster, Amethyst Wizard, and 3 Pistoliers. So we're going full on wagon train here. As for the High Elves, it looks like there's Spearmen, White Lions, we've got a whole bunch of Lothern Seaguard as well, Tyrion leading the way, a Lore of Lightcaster here, we've got Silver Helms. Yep, so a nice wide High Elf build, no Terror units as well, which is pretty interesting. But the Steam Tank, my range tool is going to start working already. The Luminarch going after Tyrion, he does have fire resistance, I believe, which will help him against the Luminarch. But, I mean, it still does so much missile damage, right, that it's gonna hit him hard, right? But the fire damage, 45% plus 15% missile resistance is pretty good. And since the Luminarch does fire damage, it's not going to be great specifically shooting at Tyrion. So I'm going to switch over to the caster in just a moment. I also don't want to friendly fire Volkmar, although he has magic and missile resistance, so actually takes very little damage from that shot right there. Yeah, it's just not good. The White Lions also need to keep them screened out, obviously, so we're going to definitely play things pretty conservatively here. You can see I've kind of got multi-layers of spears, trying to just hold off the High Elves as long as we can, use these high-powered missile attacks to blast. Oh, yeah, blast that caster. She gets more than half HP gone from one hit. I'm surprised that Martial Prowess is still active, to be honest. And Spirit Leech on these Silver Helms. Probably should be dedicating all of my Spirit Leeches to Tyrion because he is potentially pretty dangerous here, but I figure I can probably just net him and gun him down at some point. The caster just got absolutely gatted there. I think she's probably shattered by the Tempelhof. A nice Sunfang, though, from Tyrion, going to cut through those spearmen there. Over here, we've got the Pistoliers in kind of a mobile reserve column. They're going to outnumber these Silver Helms particularly well, and the fact that the Silver Helms can only saturate in, the Pistoliers can continue to shoot in melee. We've got supporting spears as well. Pretty good engagement for me. Volkmar's going to pull through the front line there. That Soulfire, unfortunately, was mostly a miss, but you do need to get this Luminarch back online shooting something. Likewise, the White Lions pouring in some fire here on the flank of these Silver Helms. Leads to them getting terrified away by the Steam Tank before they make solid contact. Let's keep things nice and close. As my build is relatively narrow here. Luminarch pumping up another shot. Let's see what it goes after. It looks like Tyrion's actually been netted at this point, so I'm going to focus everything on Tyrion, the Hellblaster, the Luminarch, the Steam Tank, everything. Tyrion is on a little bit of a slope here, so it doesn't look like the Hellblaster is actually able to make great contact with him. But, yeah, unfortunately, Silver Helms, White Lions kind of busting through into the back line. At this point, I'm going to have to use these Pistoliers aggressively, as I am known to do, to help support these Spearmen. Just keep these Silver Helm models bogged up so that the Spearmen can maybe get some hits in. Likewise, the Steam Tank now starting to take some damage from Tyrion, although he himself has gotten absolutely blasted. The fire resistance obviously helped, probably made the difference in keeping him alive, to be honest. But let's see, another Luminarch shot. Ooh, looks like that was a hit. Does actually quite a bit of damage, and you can see that's why I'm not really worried too much about the fire resistance, honestly. Despite that, he still takes a lot of damage from everything. So he gets terrified away there by the Steam Tank. Let's see if the Luminarch can get one last shot on him. I feel like it almost like bugs out here for a minute. You can see pretty clearly that it has an attack order, but it's not shooting, unfortunately. Maybe the trees are getting in the way? Yeah, I'm not really sure. It just refuses to fire, I guess because that tree is directly in the way. But meanwhile, the White Lion, or the Black Lion shooting into the White Lions, which of course makes sense. The steam tank being used in melee here to run over some of these infantry. It is pretty low on HP though, but if I can finish off Tyrion here, the High Elves are going to start to have serious leadership issues. Unfortunately, I was hoping that the Luminarch would actually be the thing to finish it off. Instead, the White Lions actually proc the Heart of Averlorn there, and Tyrion gets a good healing boost, so that's really bad for me. I really need to take Tyrion out and just get a massive terror route going with Volkmar and the steam tank if I want to have a hope of coming back in this game, but we're going to get a great Soulfire here, do a ton of damage to these infantry, and hopefully lead to them terrifying. Yep, the White Lions at the very least do get terrified away there, and likewise, as Tyrion's kind of picking away at Volkmar here, he's opening up himself to get shot by other things. Unfortunately, my other things that would shoot him are kind of all being chased away at this point. Tempelhof Luminarch is nowhere to be seen. You can see I'm kind of cornered up against the edge of the map here. This Amethyst Wizard did come back from route, but the White Lions, or sorry, the Black Lions, it's so confusing having them both in the same battle. Banishment going to try and bail out the steam tank here, but unfortunately Tyrion is subject to banishment, not at all, so he comes in and actually explodes the steam tank manually, although the Silver Helms do pay a little bit of a price for their charge. A Spirit Leech on Tyrion is going to keep him kind of draining away there. See if we can finish him off. If we can finish him off, I'm still confident that I can win this with Volkmar alone. I mean, all of this missile fire from these Lothern Sea Guards is not going to take down Volkmar. If I can just finish off Tyrion, I throw a desperation kind of Fate of Buna on these Silver Helms because I know this Amethyst Wizard getting cornered here is probably done for, but he actually almost routs Tyrion here. If I had thrown that Fate of Buna on Tyrion, I know he only has, it's not great against single model targets, but he only has 300 HP, so even if it just did a little bit of damage to him, maybe forced him to rout there, I don't really know. I may not have forced him to rout, but you can see the balance of power has gotten pretty close once again as Volkmar is able to terrify away a lot of these units, using this tree cover to kind of shield as much of that fire as I can. Likewise, the Black Lion shooting right at the edge of the tree line to be able to get effective damage in. They're up to 82 kills, which is absolutely awesome. Tyrion is at risk of being terrified by Volkmar, so if maybe I could just terrify him away, get him caught out in the open, we could finish him off with the Hellblaster here. The Pistoliers out here rout, though. They were chasing away those Silver Helms, unfortunately. I'm not really sure why they routed, to be honest. But that is going to leave Tyrion to come in. He pops his Feint and Riposte to get the physical resistance and the extra combat stats. I know I can't really fight him in melee, so all I can do is try and pull Volkmar through his own troops, maybe get him stopped up, try and find a good angle to fire with the Black Lions. Maybe get a Soulfire in here. Does some good damage to the, and Tyrion actually gets terrified. I'm really just relying on the terror mechanic pretty heavily at this point. Keep things from getting too far out of favor. If I can get Volkmar out of range, he's pretty close to his healing cap, so things are getting extremely dicey for me in terms of actually having a chance to win this. But I still feel like, honestly, if I could just finish off Tyrion, we can get a massive terror out going and equalize things. The Black Lions, they get one shot, but they whiff on the rest, and Tyrion's down to 83 HP. He comes in here, he gets a charge on Volkmar, and finishes off Volkmar, which is enough to obviously cause critical army losses. I mean, the Black Lions, they're pretty brave. They're going to try and get one last glorious charge through those Lothern Sea Guard, but yeah, it's too much. And to be honest, even if I had finished off Tyrion there, I don't know if I would have been able to win with just Volkmar. Would have taken some very aggressive cycle charging and just abusing Soulfire, which wouldn't have been fun for anyone, but at the end of the day, the build is still pretty wild. Yeah. Technically, under Cup rules, Steam Tank and Luminarch together are banned, which I think is kind of silly because it's not even that good. In the banner rules, you're limited to one of each. Like, you can't take 2 Steam Tanks, you can't take 2 Luminarchs, but you can take a Steam Tank and a Luminarch and a Black Lions if you want to. I wouldn't advise it necessarily, but it almost ended up working here just because of the build that Arrow had. He didn't really have any single entities. I guess single entities probably would have got gadded by the Luminarch anyway, but yeah, like that caster, rest in pieces. But yeah, just kind of having the anti-infantry component of Volkmar plus the Steam Tank. You have the Black Lions can kind of act in a multitude of different roles in anti-cav, anti-infantry, anti-large. The Tempelhof is anti-single entity. The biggest thing here is I just lack numbers, to be honest, and I think maybe actually a steam tank and the Templehof would be good together if you just cut the Black Lions here and brought maybe like some Empire Knights just to have some mass to stop things up, stop up, Silver Helms, get good charges on enemy infantry, and maybe all of a sudden this build is actually good. But as it stands right here, it's really just not, I would say. It's definitely fun, and there's a lot of meme value, absolutely, but yeah, it's too much. It's too much spent on this mobile artillery that it can escape, but if your opponent has enough mobility to keep bogging you down, and especially like Tyrion's 90-something speed, probably one of the fastest combat horse lords in the game. I think he is actually fastest combat horse lord in the game. Means that he can push through and get on these things and take them out, right? So very hard to deal with that without a good amount of numbers, and this just really realistically doesn't have the numbers to deal with it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.